Hey guys, today we're gonna make a Spaetzle because I have a lot of eggs in the house and I'm gonna make a beautiful mushroom cream white wine sauce to go on top. So I just put 4 cups of flour in the bowl. There's 2 teaspoons of salt. I used Himalayan pink because that's what I have, but you could use like kosher, sea salt, whatever you want. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. This is what's gonna give the Spaetzle a beautiful flavor in the background. So these are German egg noodles. So hold on, I gotta get the eggs and get the milk ready. So I just whisked all the dry ingredients together just to, mix them really nicely together. I'm gonna bang that off. And then I have 9 eggs here. I'm gonna crack them, but first I'm gonna put like a well in the middle for all of my eggs to go. So I'm just gonna crack all 9 eggs into the middle of that well, and then I'm gonna mix them with a spatula. If you do it with a whisk, it's gonna get stuck in the whisk and then you're gonna take like 9 million years cleaning out your whisk. Okay, so I've cracked all my eggs. I'm just gonna poke a fork in there to pop the eggs and then slowly whisk, or you know what I'm talking about, until it's all incorporated. And this is gonna take a little while, and when it starts to dry out, I'm gonna add a cup of milk. Okay, so this is a cup of milk. I'm just gonna add it now because I'm gonna need it anyway. So, and I will need the whole cup. So I'm using 1%. You can use 2 homo, like whatever you have in the house. I've even made this with almond milk. So don't worry if you have oat or something like that. Okay, so I kept stirring it until I just couldn't stir it anymore with the fork because it was hurting my hand. So I pulled out my spatula and I've just been scraping down the sides and mixing it some more. But you're gonna get to a point where it's gonna look like cornbread. And this is when you need to slowly add a little bit of extra milk, okay? So we've already put a cup in. We're gonna start with maybe a quarter and see how we do. Okay, so I've got the right consistency. I'm looking for a thick porridge. Okay, I'll turn my phone this way. Because you want it to be a little ooey gooey. And don't worry about the lumps, they don't matter. Okay, but there's gonna be a little tension as you stir, and it kind of is like a thick waffle or pancake batter at this point, okay? I'm just trying to break up the big lumps, but yeah. I got a pot on to boil, and I'm gonna grab out a casserole dish in the meantime. Okay, so this is a Spaetzle baker. You can get them on Amazon, and you position it over the boiling hot water like this. It sits on the, see, it has like a little lip on it to hold it down. Ooh, trying to do it through the phone. And then you put the batter in this part, and then you slide it back and forth to push it through the holes. I don't use it like that because it's a lot of work and a lot to clean. So I take that part out, and then I use my spatula and I spoon it on top, and then I push it through. So when I get the water boiling, I'll show you how I do it. So I just added a huge tablespoon of sea salt, coarse sea salt, to my boiling hot water. I'm just gonna grab my bowl. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this on there. Ooh, hot. And then spoon. So I just spooned some of the batter onto the Spaetzle maker, and I'm just gonna gently push it back and forth through the holes, and it will fall into the water below. See, it's fallen through. And I'm gonna keep going until all the batter has fallen through. And it will cook for 2 or 3 minutes or until they float. And then you just scoop them out with a colander or with a slotted spoon. And I put them in a casserole dish that already has butter in them. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second. There's the casserole dish I'm gonna scoop them into. Okay, so I just gave them a little swirl. They've all risen to the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my big slotted spoon. It's hard to do this and film at the same time. Get all the water out of there. And just chuck it in my casserole dish. And I'm gonna keep going in batches. until it's all done. And don't worry if some of your noodles end up being ginormous. Just let them cook a little bit longer than the smaller ones. They're still gonna be delicious. Who doesn't love boiled flavored dough? That's basically what bagels are until they bake them. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the last bit of the Spaetzle dough going in. Dough. You know what I mean. Anyway, so I'm moving it back and forth with the spatula, but I'm also pushing it down into the holes so that the Spaetzle falls through into the boiling hot water. Try and use it all up because it's just that delicious. And then when you pick it up, just push it down. It doesn't matter if you don't get it all. So that's good, you know? Good enough, good enough. Don't work so hard. Okay? And you take a metal slotted spoon. And zhuzh it like that. I'm gonna let it cook for I'm gonna let it boil for about 2 minutes. So that's the finished product in a huge casserole dish. And I'm just gonna take 2 bluppies of butter, toss them on top, throw on my casserole dish, and then I'm gonna stick it in the oven that is not on, and leave it there until I'm ready to make dinner. I do this in 2 parts because I love to make Spaetzle, but I also need a little break in between so that I can kind of get up to making the beautiful gravy that's gonna go on top of it. So any kind of gravy you love, splop it on top, fry up some meat and some veggies, and you're good to go. Bon appétit.